Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. Guys, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my website. I have plenty of courses, both car specific but also a racing technique course. So that will help you a lot if you're just looking to get more and more into understanding how to drive the car to the limit. Now going into the track guide itself, for turn 1, my reference for braking is this banner on the left side. There's a Jordan banner. This one right here. Whenever this Jordan sign disappears, this is where I'm braking, and notice that I'm putting my left tire here on the left side of the concrete near the white line. So if you're aligning yourself with the white line, you will lose a bit of time because you can actually put your tire to the left side of the white line. So this will be key. Now, the single thing that you must remember about this corner and the next one as well, you just have to hold the brakes longer into the corner. So it's not like you're spiking the brakes and then you're dropping. It's more like you're squeezing the brakes for longer and then you're releasing. This is the difference because look here, I have in the center of the screen, bottom center, an overlay which shows my inputs, braking and throttle traces. And look, I'm braking, still on the brakes. Still on the brakes, even though I'm holding 11%, still braking, and now I'm back on throttle. So if you're not gonna do that, what's gonna happen is that you will run wide. This is a long corner and you need to rotate the car. So just remind yourself to just hold the brakes more and more into this corner. Don't go to third gear, fourth gear is gonna be enough. And in terms of going on power, try to be as aggressive as you can. You can use this part of the track without getting an off track. And now when we are preparing turn 2, we don't want to put our car on the right side. We want to stay here on the left and we want to turn the moment that we see this curve right here, but we don't want to touch it. This is the key. You want to get very close to it, but don't put your right tires on the curb because the car will bounce forward. The idea of this corner is to have your car all the way here on your right side. So almost on the white line with your right tires, okay? So if you will hit this curb, what's gonna happen is that the car will bounce around here in the center of the track, and you don't want that. If you find yourself in the center of the track, remind yourself to just turn a bit later, don't hit the curb on the right side. Now for this corner, it's the same thing. Look, braking, still on the brakes, still braking, gas. So a long braking zone. You should be back on throttle where you are very close with these orange cones right here. This will be like your reference for going back on throttle. Look how it's relatively close to the first orange cone. So you must wait and then use this curb, put your tire on it and use it to rotate the car. Be careful because here you can get an off track, so the car will feel very loose. You can do some corrections with the steering. And another tip with this car, since this is a new car, try to just use light hands on the steering wheel. Because if you will grip it very hard, this car likes to dance a bit. It's not like the MX-5, but still likes to dance with the rear tires. And you can definitely just scrub more speed or even spin if you're just gripping the wheel too hard. Now for the next corner, our reference for braking will be past the concrete on the right side. Look, there's this concrete here, this one here. You will brake past it, like the moment that I'm going past it, I'm applying the brake, I'm all the way here on the right side. You don't want to brake very hard, but you want to downshift to fourth gear here and immediately get back on throttle. The idea will be to have the car on the white line before applying the brakes. This will be like really good. You can push it even more, like do a more diagonal style of braking, but I wouldn't recommend it too much. It's quicker, but I think this will be a lot more consistent and it gives you that room for error. So just go with this line. It will be better over the course of like a full race. And now, whenever you're tackling this corner, you have to brake hard in third gear. And once again, this is a long corner. So the way that you should approach it is almost like it being a double apex. What I mean by a double apex corner is that you will first touch the red and white curb here, and then you will touch it for the second time here. So you're getting closer to the curb in the beginning and the end phase of the corner. So if you're just hitting the white and red curb just once, you're doing something wrong. You have to hit it twice, one in the beginning, one in the end, long trail braking as you can see. And then when you go on throttle, be careful here. Don't use this curb too much, it can spin your car. Now going into the chicane, the reference for braking will be this distance basically. You will try to measure the distance. This is exactly what I'm doing here. So whenever I'm getting closer around this part, you can also use this the distance to this marshal post here, but it's easier to just gauge the distance into the chicane. You will apply the brakes, you will try to get as close as you can to this left part of the box, and then just go in a straight line around here. And ideally right now you should be back on gas. This was a mistake on my part, I lost a bit of time here. Whenever you hit the curb of the second box, you should be already pushing the throttle. You should fight to keep the car on track because you will touch this curb, and ideally the car will put you here on this curb on the right side if you have more speed. So this is a mistake in my lap. Now going for the next chicane, the reference for braking will be past the 100. So at this point in time I'm applying the brakes. So it's not in the middle of 150, it's more closer to the 100. Brake very hard in a straight line around 80%, keeping it in third, get as close as you can to this box here. And now in between those two corners you will give it a blip of throttle, then you will drop the throttle to get some grip on the front tires like this. Get again very close to the second part of the chicane, and now on your way out you should be here in the center of the track. Don't be all the way on the right. If you're on the white line, you did a mistake, because you have to bring the car here all the way on the left on the white line. And when you're going into this corner, what I'm recommend to do is to just drop the throttle, pick a bit of brakes like 5-10%, and then go on throttle once again in third gear. We're heading towards the last part of the track, the last two corners. So it's important here to stay more in the center right, because if you keep a very tight line on the left, the car will start to slide and you don't want that. And in terms of the braking here, the braking will be quite early. So look, at this point in time I'm applying the brakes. After the dip, there's a small dip right here where the track goes from a higher elevation to a lower elevation here. When I'm hitting the lower elevation part, I'm applying the brakes, I'm still holding fourth gear, I'm keeping a very tight line, so I'm just trying to stay as tight as I can to these curbs, still holding the brakes, and now I'm going back on throttle. So the point of going on throttle is the middle of the corner, and once again keeping a tight line around this part, using this curb, and now we're heading towards the last corner of the track. Braking point will be past this arrow, so around this point in time I'm applying the brakes. You want to downshift in third gear and you want to hit this curb. In this lap, this doesn't happen for me. I think I lost 1/10. Go a bit closer to this curb, but the secret is to hit it here on the end, not in the beginning. Because then when you go back on the gas, you will have enough room on your way out. And in short, that's a track guide for Oulton Park with the M2. Hope you have a great week ahead, and I'm seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.